This is a bait fish pattern I came up with. I like to have flies that are quick and simple during guide season. So this is I like a heavier hook for this pattern, so it just sets below the surface. In the spring and the fall in the river, there's a lot of bait fish running up the river, and I don't necessarily like this fish sinking line because the fish are usually cruising along the bank. So I just cover the hook shank with my thread back to almost the hook bend. Most of the time I use chartreuse, so I pair a couple hackle feathers. I just place it on either side of the hook shank, tie it in. I'll trim off that little bit of hackle. I usually leave it so when I do tie it in, the thread grabs onto the hackle. Just gives me a better base. A lot of people like to strip down the hackle feather. Then I tie in my my pearl braid. I'll wind it forward, covering the hook shank. The only flash I use is this pearl braid on this fly. I'll roughly be a hook eye length back where I tie off the pearl. I'll do 2-3 wraps. I'll trim off the excess. Then I take some either white, or here I have chartreuse deer body, and I'll take a good clump. That way I don't have to keep on adding. I'll clean out all the little fuzzies. So I'm going to tie on, I'm going to do a loose wrap, then I'm going to do another loose wrap, and I'm going to tighten it down slowly. And as I do that, it's going to spin around the hook, which gives me a little bit of a flare. And I'll just kind of work it through, tightening it down. And I'll trim all this excess. But I won't trim the long pieces. I'm going to trim the bottom pieces, not the top. I'm kind of going to build a head because I want the fly to, even though the hook's heavy, I don't want the fly to go straight to the bottom. So the deer body head will help make it buoyant. Nothing fancy here. What I'll do is push that back a little bit. Don't necessarily trim all that up. A couple more winds. And then I'm going to tie a knot right there. And then I'm going to take my fish skull head, and you'll see it's going to set right over all that. But what I'll do is I'll take my UV clear loon and I'm going to soak the head. Then I'm going to take and put my fish skull head over that. And then I'm going to zap it. Since the head's clear, it'll go right through the plastic. And if you want extra security, you can take your thread and you can wrap it right here in front, but I don't think you need it with the loon UV. And then I will take a couple eyes and add the eyes on. And the fly is finished. It's ready to fish.